Hello, in this video we are going to look at exception handling, and exception handling is something that I would definitely recommend doing. I know a lot of beginners do well, they just don't do it. I even know really good developers that don't do it, and that begs the question, are they good developers or not? So exception handling, well, it allows you to handle any problems that may arise, and and trust me, problems are going to arise, especially when you've got user interaction. They're definitely going to be problems. That's without that. Okay, next thing, the reason I'm doing it on a local environment and not the regular online environment is because to demonstrate one of the exception handling functionality, I want to actually try and open up a file, and you need to be on some sort of local environment to be able to do that. So otherwise, the code will work online if you are doing exception handling for like file input. It's just that's one of the easiest ones to do. So the first thing we're going to do is just create a method. So let's just create function. I'm going to call it function1, and I'll pass it in a parameter. I'll call it var1. All simple stuff so far. We'll have a return statement, and this will return the. What I'm going to do is I'm going to return 10 divided by 10 divided by 10 divided by var1. Okay, so that's all good stuff so far. And if I print this out, so if I print out function 1 and I'll just pass in 5, for example, that should yield us a result of 2. So let me save it, run it, the run module, there we go, you guess us 2. All good stuff. What happens if we put 0 though? I think we know what's going to happen. Division by 0, that can't be done in mathematics. So we could do an if statement, or like an easy way is use an assert statement. So assert, and we're just asserting what is valid and what is not valid. So we want to check if var1 is not equal to 0, then we would continue. So if we save it, we need a second parameter, which is just like a value saying something to the user that something's gone wrong. So 0 is invalid, for example. If I rerun this, division by 0, okay, what's the problem? Sorry, it should be 0. That's what we're checking. I was checking if it wasn't equal to 0. So what is going on here? So something seems to be amiss. It is. You know what I've done? I've messed up the brackets. The bracket. I always do this. The brackets must be there. Now the actual thing that you want to say to the user. 0 is invalid. As you can see, the assert has now been hit. If I put in a value of, I don't know, 4, for example, it should give us a result of 2.5. It works. The assert, the beauty of using something like an assert is you're checking as well. So it's not just an error is being thrown. You're doing a check, so the actual error is a bit more contextual. So when you have a lot of code and a lot of stuff going, you can be like, oh, okay, I understand that a bit more. Why that has happened. So there's something called exceptions. This is like the try-catch block in many other languages. I'm going to demonstrate it by trying to open up a file. So I'll put it afterwards because this is valid so far. So this is the assert statement, like very similar to an if statement. You can think of it like that, pretty similar. And the try block, you do try, and now you put the code that you want to actually try to do. So if I say file equals open, so I want to try and open some file, and I want to open up text.txt, specify mode, just specify w, and now we just want to do file.write. We want to write something, just hello. Now what we want to do is specify to some sort of input output error, so you can just do accept and do IO error. Make sure you sort out the indentation properly. It's going to print, and we're just going to say file not found. File not found, and there will be an else. The else is just if everything is fine. So you would just do print. You don't have to put a print here. We're just going to do for Apple. It says okay. And then you obviously want to close the file. So file.close, like so. So if I rerun this now, and we get OK because it was successfully able to create the file. But if something went wrong, maybe the OS interrupted it in some capacity and said you can't create a file here, maybe we'll read only, for example, that particular directory was, then this would have been triggered and it would have said file not found. And if we had another mode which was for reading, for example, and you wouldn't actually create the file as an extra task going to do that, then it would get into the except as well. So that's the try except block, and it's very similar to the try catch block as well. There's more functionality within exceptions, but if you understand what we've covered in this video, then honestly you're all good to go. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out. There'll be a link in the description linking you with more of the functionality around exception handling, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you there.